We have news of an arrest from last week's reported case of the donut fingerer of East Cheam. Following leads from my eagle-eyed viewers out there, the culprit was caught red-handed, or should that be red-fingered? So now the bakers of East Cheam can sleep soundly in their beds at night knowing their donuts aren't going to be fingered. Moving on to this week, we have a report in of a vicious attacker, a dark marauder in the Maple Durwell area who hides in the dahlia bushes and springs out and attacks unsuspecting passers-by. We have CCTV footage of one of the attacks that some viewers may find disturbing. No. Get off, get off. Just get off, darling. Ow, ow, get down, idiot, off. Let go, leave it, stop pulling. Hello and welcome to Tweed's Garage. Glad you could join us. And what have we been up to? Well, we've got another project. Yeah, I didn't buy this one. I was offered this one. I was offered to save this one. So we've got a BSA Bantam. So little story behind it. It's a sort of friend of mine, a customer that I've known for many years, and he's always talked about this Bantam. I never actually saw it. Knew it was in the garage or little shed, and he was always going to get round to doing it up, getting it running again. But unfortunately, the march of time has taken its toll, and it's too much for him. And his son was going to do it, but when his son went to have a look at it, the roof on the garage started to leak, and it had been sort of leaking on the bike and the contents of the garage. So he had a look at it and decided it was sort of too far gone, too much for him to do. So it was offered to me, and I said, well, yeah, I'll take it on and see what we can do with it. So popped along to have a look and collect it, but I was fearing the worst because I knew the garage was in a poor state and it had sort of got water damage and that. So went to have a look, and it was stored in being moved to another garage. And on opening the door, I was expecting to sort of find the sort of, the top of the tank rusted out and all the chrome work gone and sort of just a right state. But actually, it was all complete, and as you can see, very dusty. Chrome, sort of a bit of rust coming through on the chrome and that, but didn't look too bad. So I was sort of quite surprised and pleased. So I sort of stuck it in the van and brought it home, and yeah, so let's go and have a look at it. So here it is, seeing the light of day after many years of being stuck in a shed. It's a BSA Bantam 175, model number D14/4. The 4 stands for 4 speed. Not sure what the 14 is. I don't think it's horsepower. It's around sort of just over 10-11 horsepower, or it did when it left the factory. I should imagine about 5 of those horses are run away now when we get it running. And as you can see, it's not as bad as I initially thought. I was told that the roof of the shed had collapsed and the rain had been coming in over the top of it, and it was sort of too far gone. But really, it's not too bad. Some of the chrome has suffered, particularly on the front wheel. It started peeling, not quite sure where. Oh God, yeah. Hello. Sort of around there, you can see it's gone there, but we'll try and clean it up and see what it comes up like. It's pretty much complete. The only parts that were missing was one of the clamps for the handlebars. Should be one here, a couple of bolts. Don't think these are the original handlebars, probably got bent at some time and another set put on, but it's still got all the original levers, throttle, choke control, and the switch gear. It sort of reminds me of Pifco torches, if anybody remembers those. sort of yeah, sort of slightly dreadful switchgear, and I'm sure it went wrong and got replaced eventually, but we'll see if we can get it running again. One of the engine bolts is missing, just there, the lower one between the two plates. I mean, it's not surprising because it's a two-stroke, but somebody has been in here because we've got silicon sealant squidging out of the case there, and the case bolts on this side have been replaced with cap head screws at some time, replacing the original Phillips screws. So somebody's been in here, and the usual British quality of design, the kickstart hits the case. That probably doesn't help because of the crack, but they all seem to do this. You'd think they'd put the bolt head on the other side, give it a bit of clearance. There you go. Fuel tank, let's have a look. Come on, off you come. Yeah, a bit rusty in there. Need to throw some ball bearings around or something in there. Yeah, we're going to get loads of rubbish in the fuel if we leave that in there. Mileage, allegedly, 14,000. So, could be hopeful. All the switchgear works as it should. And that's your, yeah, lights that side, ignition that side. I'll go through. The chrome suffered on the exhaust a bit. Back wheel, yeah, not so bad. Bit of pitting, might clean up though. Let's see how we go. Looks like the chain's got a little bit hungry at some time and decided to eat the chain guard. Yeah, so that needs looking at. Sort of come around the other side. Just poke it around the side. Foot peg is missing, but I've discovered it under the seat. And yeah, not much more to see on that side. Have a look under the saddle. Yeah, there's said foot peg there, and the bolt is still on there, so that will go back on. Oh, still got BSA rubber on it as well. Yeah, so that's obviously been put there for safekeeping. Unfortunately, the clamp and handlebar is nowhere to be found, so yeah, we'll have to sort of do something about that. All the electrics are still here with the judicious application of insulation tape around and a few crimps, so that doesn't bode well, but I should imagine there's not a lot of wires on the loom. It's probably cheaper just to get a new loom and replace it. 6 volt electrics, 6 volt battery. It's got these sturdy gaiters fitted to the front forks. They do look sort of more than meaty for the job. I did pop one back and have a look at the condition of the forks, and they look sort of reasonable. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, it's still got the old sort of rough sort of chrome machinery finished it would have left the factory with. I think that's half the reason they put gaiters over them, just to hide it. But yeah, hopefully that's protected them a bit. And yeah, for now we'll keep these gaiters, because as a lot of people are finding, the sort of modern rubber gaiters that you get now just fall to pieces within months of putting them on, because they're not proper rubber, they're sort of synthetic rubber. This model allegedly is the Supreme. But the Supreme should have a sort of deeply balanced front mud guard, and this has got an aluminium front mud guard on, which was fitted to the Sport model. This isn't a Sport mud guard, but it's not just a cheapy one. It has got a rolled end at the front and a rolled end at the back, and the brackets are all riveted on to it, so it may have been original. maybe sort of, not sure what this year is, what year this is. I'll look it up and find out. So it might have been towards the end of production maybe, and maybe they changed to an aluminium one. Again, if you know, let us know. Horn, not sure about that. Could be original. I'll have a look on the pictures in the manual. Check whether that's the right location. Dunlop, lightweight, reinforced. Any similarity between Vice Grip Garage and the previous clip is purely coincidental, and that's my legal opinion. Your standard Amel carburetor lurking there. Looks okay. Everything seems to work. You can hear it clicking on the old throttle and the choke as well, so that bodes well. Might need a new banjo on the bottom, banjo fuel union. That looks a bit sort of like it's cracking up a bit, so that could be a possible area for leaking. So I need a new one of those. Yeah, what else we've got issue here? The kickstart has got a bit of a crack starting just there. So obviously towards the end of its latter life it may have been a bit of a reluctant starter, and somebody's been busy kicking away for their life to get the bugger started. So yeah, that's something else to look at, but it does have some compression, he says. Yeah, there's enough of that. Yeah, so a bit of compression, bit of chuffing out the exhaust, so something's happening there. So there you go. BSA Bantam D14/4. But I think the first thing to do is give it a bit of a wash and try and polish it up a bit. And yeah, a good friend of mine, Chris, knows I really can't stand polishing things, but we'll give it a good go until I get bored. So maybe we'll do one side and leave the other side. So I am slightly familiar with the Bantams because I was given this book a few years ago, and it's lived in the downstairs loo, so I sort of leaf through it occasionally and have a little read, just keep myself busy. Yeah, so this will come in handy, but it covers up to 1966. I think it's the let me find out, from the D1 up to the D7, and then there was a D10 and a D14, so it doesn't cover mine, but a lot of the stuff in here, you know, is quite useful. Some stuff didn't change, some stuff did. So a handy little reference book to help me along, as well as I got this with it. Workshop manual, genuine BSA workshop manual. Yeah, so they've done 3 models. The one we've got is a Supreme, a Sports and a Bushman. And they've got the pictures there. Bushman's quite nice actually. I wonder if there's many of those about left. Yeah, so that was the Bushman. Basically it's the same as the one, my one, but different rear sprocket to drop the gearing down a bit. And heavier duty forks, same forks that were used on the Sportsman. So this is the Sportsman, slightly raised pipe, little, yeah, I think being hopeful, little handlebar fairing on it, and sort of a racing seat, looking very smart. And then this is my one. This is the Supreme. That had lighter weight forks, single-sided brakes, whereas it was full width. Sorry, yeah, one-sided, full width, half width, full width on the sports model. But looking at the forks, maybe mine was towards the end of production. It looks like it's got the Sportsman or the looks like it's got the heavier duty forks that's fitted to the Sportsman and the Bushman. So yeah, there you go. So probably the sort of once bits ran out, they started using other bits. I mean, this is fitted with an aluminium mudguard, but it's not like the one that's on there. The one on there has the same brackets as the steel one on the Supreme. But maybe there's a possibility of if the wheels have got to be rebuilt and that, maybe, you know, a green laner Bantam. What do you think? Let us know in the bottom. Should we sort of keep it as a Supreme pottering to work type machine, or should we sort of go along the route of zhuzhing it up a bit, you know, bring it up to date, and more of a sort of light trials green laning machine? Yeah, but a handy book nevertheless, and I'm sure we will be delving in here once we get the engine out the frame. And I hope we don't have to take the crank apart. Done one of those. Yeah. So there you go, a nice little thing to come with it. Let's get on and wash it. Right, let's get to it. Bucket. Great. Sponge. Ooh, good stuff. And something to poke the spokes with a brush. That'll do the job. Right, let's get on. So as you can see, the chrome on the silencer is gone. It's all sort of rusted along the top where moisture's been sitting on top of the exhaust. But I thought I'd give it a go and try and clean it up. The hardest thing to do is you can't just polish it, because the rag will just catch on all the jagged rust particles that are sitting on top, and you need to clean that off. So I have sort of used tin foil before. I know some people use tin foil, and sort of Coca-Cola apparently is the magic elixir, but I did try it once, didn't notice any difference. So I just sort of went at it with tin foil and WD-40 just to rinse the rust as I was breaking it off, so I wasn't rubbing it back into the chrome. So I just kept going with the aluminium foil, working it through, cutting through the rust, and washing it away. And then eventually, when I got it down that the tin foil wasn't catching, I knew it'd be okay to sort of start polishing. So went to work with a metal polish and cleaned it up. And as you can see, it come out okay, not too bad. You know, it's not going to win any shows, but it looks a lot better than it did, and it's quite presentable, quite usable as it is. And it doesn't matter if it gets a little bit mucky when you're out riding it, which is a good thing, because it means then it will get used rather than a sort of show pony. So then I worked my way to the downpipe, and I can't quite make up my mind. I think it's stainless steel. I don't think it's chrome. So and it wasn't too bad. So I sort of started polishing that, and I think it is stainless steel, because it cleaned it up, but it didn't sort of shine it up. It's quite hard. So I think we get some sort of stainless steel polish. Might be able to get that to shine up quite nice. So there it is after a wash and a polish, and it's come up okay. It looks quite presentable. A few little jobs to do on it, and it'll keep us busy. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is attempt to get it running, just see what it sounds like, see what it needs. I suspect, judging by the kickstart, it probably needs new crank seals, so we'll probably have to tear it down and replace the crank seals, possibly the main bearings and that, but hopefully the top end's okay. But you'll see that in another video. As you know, I'll sort of show you what I'm up to. So yeah, onwards and upwards. So there you go, an introduction to the latest addition to Tweed's Garage, a BSA Bantam D14/4. I did tell Mrs. Tweed that I'd been given a Bantam, and she was overjoyed. She said, "Oh great, we can have eggs and pie." And I said, "What, apple pie?" And she said, "No.
Chicken pies, you great lummox."
Which I thought was a bit rude, but I'll keep bringing boxes of eggs home just to keep her quiet, and she won't suspect a thing. And then we'll get on and work our way through it. So if you like the video, give us a little like, and if you want to see more, subscribe, because I'll be getting it up and running. And yeah, I think that'll do for this one. See you next time. Cheerio. So that's all we have time for this week. But remember, keep them peeled. Right, there you go, Mr. Tweed, that should cover it. Yeah, usual fee, bag of money, in the bin, behind the park. You know where I am if you need me. But I was fearing the worst.